My guests today have worked for corporate America for 50 years. They set a very clear vision of what they wanted to achieve in the next phase of their lives. After extensive research of various Indian organizations with whom they could work to achieve their vision, they finally selected Akshaya Patra. The Akshaya Patra Foundation is the non-profit trust and the largest partner of the Union Government of India to implement the midday meal scheme in the government-run School of India. This scheme is based on a public-private partnership. So, extending a very warm welcome on behalf of ITV Gold to my lovely generous guests Asha and Adish Jain. Welcome to our studio.
नमस्कार.
तो शुरुआत करते हैं आज के क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर्स से आपके साथ. To our very generous donors who are there to help Akshaya Patra and millions of children in India. We're very grateful.
जी.
People think of world tour or settling in beautiful state of Florida in a house by the beach, really splurging and enjoying life. But you decided to donate a large chunk of your savings to Akshaya Patra. Why and how? How much money are we talking about?
In this case, we are talking about donating $1 million to build a new kitchen.
तो आपने कैसे डिसाइड किया कि अक्षय पात्रा को कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं? कब आपके जहन में ये बात आई?
Actually, we have been planning to connect with Akshaya Patra for last 5 years. We have been connected, but recently we went to India. एंड वहाँ पर भारत दासा से हम मिले और उनसे हमने बताया कि हमारी ये डिज़ायर है कि हम एक किचन बनवाएं क्लोज टू गाज़ियाबाद वेयर माय फैमिली लिव्स. मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम वी हैव पीपल विल नॉट रिसीव अस राइट, पर Bharat Dasa said that's my vision also. So between him and us, we clicked together, and he has been supporting us, and that's how we decided there.
पर जैसे कि मैंने पूछा, रिटायरमेंट के बाद लोग चाहते हैं कि हम वर्ल्ड टूर करें, यहाँ पे जाएं, वहाँ पे जाएं, यहाँ बड़ा सा घर हो, एक छोटा सा कॉटेज भी हो बाय द बीच. ऐसा नहीं आपने कुछ सोचा या वो भी है?
नहीं, एक्चुअली हम लोगों ने काफ़ी कुछ ट्रैवल कर चुके हैं, काफ़ी कुछ ओन कर चुके हैं. वी हैड अ वेरी बिग हाउस इन कनेटिकट. नाउ वी हैव अ वेरी स्मॉल हाउस इन 55+ कम्युनिटी. somehow the desire of owning millions of places around here, cottage and house there and house there, that's all for us. But what are we doing for others? What are we doing to take care of the people who cannot afford to do what they want to do? There is no limit to how much a person can do for themselves. But can you do besides for your own self?
बहुत बड़ा दिल चाहिए होता है उसके लिए.
That's the motivation. We wanted other people to stand on their feet. So that's why we chose Akshaya Patra. पहले खाना दो and then education दो, दोनों चीज़ करेंगे.
Wonderful. So how do you ensure total transparency when you donate and work with Akshaya Patra?
So let me answer that one. Before we started or we joined Akshaya Patra, we had done a lot of due diligence and research. And we found the Akshaya Patra truly is an outstanding organization. On the net, if you go to Charity Navigator, you'll find a top-rated organization because of the transparency. For the last 5 years, we have been working with Akshaya Patra. We visited India, saw their operation. That's when we decided they are the right organization.
तो इसमें जो आप डोनेट करते हैं, how much of it really goes into the works of the kitchen and how much is the administrative cost?
More than 90% goes to the cause, less than 10% goes to overhead. Therefore, one of the important criteria for us that it really majority of the money should go for the cause. And we found many organizations in India who had great goals, but it was not getting the money to the cause.
Talk about your families back in India. I want to understand the value system in your homes. How did the emotion and gesture of giving get instilled in you? Can you recall some incident with your parents that taught you that it's more important to give than to receive?
I think it really started from our childhood. Both our parents were extremely open-minded.
पहले आप अपने पेरेंट्स के बारे में
जी
बताएं,
हाँ।
फिर मैं इनसे पूछूंगी।
जी हाँ, तो मैं अपने बताता हूँ पेरेंट्स के बारे
जी।
में। मेरी मदर जो थी वो बहुत ज़्यादा एजुकेशन में विश्वास करती थी, एंड शी प्रमोटेड एजुकेशन फॉर हर फैमिली बट आल्सो फॉर देयर फ्रेंड्स. She didn't have the much education herself, came from business family, but she wanted to make sure we get the highest education and then help others. That really came from her mother and also came from father. Let me give you an instance of my father.
जी।
So my father was well known in the community. Any death happens in the community, father will be the first one to go there and help take care of the various issues. Or if the marriage happening, they'll all come to my father and say, please, Lada ji, हमारी help कीजिएगा
जी।
to organize. So I realized from very childhood that our objective in life should be not just ourselves, but to help others.
तो आपका कैसा बैकग्राउंड था? अपर मिडिल क्लास, लोअर मिडिल क्लास?
I would say middle to upper middle class background, where we all of us were in business families.
आपके भाई बहन कितने?
हमारे 4 भाई बहन, हमारे 3 भाई और 1 बहन है. And our father wanted all of us to go into business. He had a good business. Our mother didn't want us to go in business. She wanted all of us to get education. And as it happens, one brother became an advocate, 3 of us became engineers,
Wow.
our sister became a doctor.
और आप अपना IIT का सफर के बारे में भी कुछ
ये
बताएं।
बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ है.
जी।
हमारी मदर चाहते थी सबको PhD कराना, तो एक एक करके हम सब लोग अमेरिका आए पढ़ने के लिए. And when I came here in 61, I got my education, master's, and I went back to India because I was done with the education. My mother said, I didn't call you back. How come you're back here? Go back to USA, get PhD and then come back.
Oh.
And that's how she was. She didn't think of having children around her, take care of them in old age. She wanted them, all of us, to be able to stand up and become something. So in those 3 years I was in India, I taught in IIT Delhi. And then 3 years later, my mother pushed me, you're going to go back to USA as you promised me. So I came back to USA to do a PhD.
वो खुद कितनी पढ़ी लिखी थी?
That's a big difference. My mother was a very smart lady, and she left education at 3rd grade because her mother died, and her brother was quite young, so someone had to take care of their brother. So our Nana decided to pull her out of the school, and she took care of brother, but she never forgot her real love was education.
Oh.
And we are so fortunate that what she did for us, that's really what our great desire is. What she gave us, we have to help others with the same thing.
Give back to the society.
And so,
आप बताइए आशा जी।
My parents were very well to do financially.
जी।
And my father was very open minded. But one thing, it was clear in his mind that you have money, but don't show it off. I had the car, but he will not give me ride to my school in the car, to take a rickshaw or walk or go on the bike, because once you go on in the car, then it will be, people will look at you and all that, show off. बिल्कुल नहीं करना.
तो ये कौन से ईयर की बात कर रहे हैं हम?
Oh, 65 probably.
And you didn't have just one car, you had many cars.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Did you have many cars or just?
Yeah.
You had many cars.
Yeah.
Back in those days.
So he will not give us a ride. He was also telling us. I was in a college in co-ed, and he said, "I wish there was a uniform." In college, nobody has a uniform, but he wishes we had a uniform, so there is no show off of the clothes and money and this and that. So he says, stay on the ground, don't try to fly. And if you can do it for others with the money, do it for others, but don't need to fly.
बचपन से आपको
बचपन से ऐसे सिखाया था. अभी बोलने की आदत ही नहीं है कि मेरे पास ये है या वो है. सबका सुनते रहते हैं पर अपना बोलने का. Actually, my daughter and son are same. We have a daughter and son, and everybody tells them, you are too humble, you just don't talk about yourself. They say, this is how we grew up, that's how parents are, and that's how grandparents were. So we don't like talking about ourselves too much.
That's great.
Yeah.
This is your value system. It's like your actions talk.
Right,
Rather than you
exactly.
should.
Yeah.
I would like to add something here. My father-in-law was one of the richest men in his profession. He was in molasses. He was the richest molasses merchant in India.
King of molasses.
King of molasses. And yet, when I met him first, I could not guess that at all. Just a very down-to-earth person.
Beautiful. How did you guys meet?
Let me share that how we met.
Yes.
So this is a story of itself. So once I was in India, my father said, look, Adish, you're working in IIT, you're well off, now it's time to get married. So that's okay. But when I'm ready for marriage, I'll find my own bride. I don't want your help. And for a year, I looked for different people, I met different people. They all asked me a simple question. What does your father do? I said, do you want to marry my father or me? That turned me off. Eventually, as I was giving up, my father suggested Asha, said, look, I learned about this girl and maybe you want to meet her one-on-one. Next thing I know is her father came to visit me in IIT Delhi. We talked about it and said, look, I'm not ready to see your daughter because suppose I didn't like her, then I won't know how to say no. You know what he responded? How about if she doesn't like you? That was
At
wonderful.
that time, that didn't happen.
And that to a degree, I do have to share one more thing.
Yes.
I saw her, it took me 1 minute to decide.
Oh,
She's the one.
wow.
It took me some more time, we talked back and forth, but I had made up my mind that I'm going to
पहली
marry her.
नजर में ही प्यार हो गया आपको.
जी, kind-
और
I
आपको?
saw-
He asked me, my father asked me. I thought I was very impressed by. He came to USA at the age of 21. At the age of 23, he's back in USA and teaching at IIT.
That's great.
The person must have some brain.
Unheard of, really.
That's all I knew, and that's good enough for me.
Beautiful. So coming back to Akshaya Patra, I believe you traveled all the way to Vrindavan in India to check their kitchen and facilities. Talk about that.
You know something though, when we learned about Akshaya Patra in our due diligence, it looked too good to be true. How can you provide a meal to a child for $15 for the whole year? It just didn't make sense.
That really does sound too good
Something.
to be true.
So I say it looks too good. And we are just trying to sell the whole idea to us. So we said, look, the only way we can find out is we go there first hand, see it first hand, and then decide. And so we next visit to India, we exactly did that. We went to Akshaya Patra's kitchen in Vrindavan, and what we saw absolutely overwhelmed us.
Wow, we'll come to that. But there is so much poverty in India and of course lack of education. I won't be surprised to know that children are sent to the government schools so that they can get one proper meal and also they get to bring in some food home if there is an excess. And why I wanted to talk about this is because I read about you that you believe that good education should be provided to those who lacked resources.
Yes.
Do you see the schools where your money is going, how they are doing academically? What is the quality of education, the credentials of the teachers in those schools?
This is a very, very important question.
Yeah.
Probably the most important question. So what happened is we went to Akshaya Patra Vrindavan 5 years ago. We saw an outstanding operation of Akshaya Patra, how they provide meals, high quality meal, something we also enjoyed eating. Everything was done perfect. But when we started talking to teachers and students, we felt differently. So we asked Akshaya Patra that, look, you're providing meals, you're bringing children to the schools,
Yeah,
but they are not learning enough.
yeah.
What do you do about it? And frankly, Akshaya Patra could not do much about it. And they explained to us that we are working with government, we are supporting programs. Because of the meals, we get a lot more children coming to schools. But how they teach in government schools, we cannot influence.
Yeah,
So,
that's the catch, right?
so that's a catch. So 5 years later, we started 5 years ago. 5 years later, when we visited India this time, we said we'd really like to meet the senior
Teachers.
members of Akshaya Patra because we have a question to ask. They say when we met Bharata Dasa, he had come all the way from Vrindavan just to meet us. And so we said to Bharata, we really want to provide education to the children.
Correct.
We like the whole idea of midday meals, but our real love is education.
Yeah.
Because these children don't have any opportunity, any chance to go anywhere. So we'll be very happy to work with you, but we want both midday meals and education.
Yeah, that should go hand in hand.
And so we are shocked when Bharata Dasa said, Adish, I have exactly same vision. Now remember, Bharata Dasa is managing large operation in India, all midday meals. But he, in his own mind, had the same idea. Someday, how do Akshaya Patra go from midday meals to education? So he said, okay, let's do this way. You want midday meals, so you want the education in Saibad or Ghaziabad area. We are going to have a kitchen fairly soon. How about we combine the two?
Lovely. So I'll come to that. Talk about the program started in Sahibabad by Akshaya Patra. Why did you choose that place specifically? You can answer that.
I can answer that definitely. We have been supporting other organizations which are in Jharkhand and different places.
Wow.
Yeah, total.
तो आप झारखंड भी गए?
झारखंड जाते हैं, हर साल जाते हैं. Yeah, that's Ekal we are supporting. But then we thought, but we have not done anything close to our home. So my family lives in Saibabad, very close to Ghaziabad.
जी.
So we thought we will do something close to the family. That's why.
Lovely. Akshaya Patra provides quality midday meals to a child for a whole year for less than $20, $15 like you said. Can you tell us what all is included in that meal?
You know, it's the nicest meal you can think of.
Really?
A roti, for example, North India, roti, sabji, dal, salad, all of these things are there. And they're enough to eat to your heart's content. So we sat down with the children, we ate the same meal, we loved it. Organically prepared food and very delicious and very nutritious food.
What is your proposal of introducing and extending digital learning in government schools in India?
Okay, so what happened is this time when we went to India, we went to several schools. And we found the education was much better than what we had seen in Vrindavan many years earlier. However, they didn't have a computer lab or computer education. So we asked Bharata Dasa to do a survey, and sure enough, we found less than 10% students get computer education. That's a huge loss for them. If you want to be something going up and you don't have computer basics, you won't go anywhere.
True. But are we talking about electricity also in those places?
No, we are talking about Ghaziabad and Saibad.
Okay.
So there are education, the electricity is there.
Okay.
What they decided was they will provide a computer base in each of these schools. They also have very good software program. They are working with another company in India. So really our idea is twofold. One, make sure through computers we can provide the same level of education that people get in better schools. And number two, after they get the education, even prepare them for college entrance exam. So really think of it. A child goes to college, to school today, just get the basic education. That's it. And that too at a very low level. If you have computers, we can give them coaching, digital coaching,
Yes.
at par with the government, with the private schools.
True.
Number one. And number two, also through digital coaching, give them same level of preparation as you get by spending 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs for entrance exam. So really it could be a game changer for these children.
Very
They
true.
could be at par with the private schools.
Very true. What do you want to convey to potential donors if they want to donate to Akshaya Patra?
I think it's very important you learn from yourself firsthand what exactly they say Akshaya Patra is, what any other organization is. So through last 5 years we have been donating significant amount of money. And what we have learned is majority of donors don't know where the money goes.
Yeah.
And they're happy with what they're seeing. To us, it's very, very important you see the results. Because you want to make an impact. And you can only see the results and impact if you physically go there.
Right.
So, as Asha mentioned, in our program, we've been quite deeply involved for the last 5 years. We visit Jharkhand school, Jharkhand villages every year for a week.
Wow.
We want to see firsthand the impact we made. So what you said about Aam Aadmi Party, that type of impact we want to see firsthand, not someone telling us. And so in these programs, Akshaya Patra including, we plan to be very deeply involved in it, monitor the progress personally, so we can help Akshaya Patra broaden its vision.
Wonderful. And I believe there's a gala coming up for Akshaya Patra. Do you want to tell our audience about that?
Wow. Yes. So there is a gala on 19th of this month, and basically they want to recognize the donors and share with the people what is going on in India. So they invited us as a donor with the idea of sharing our experience. They also have many outstanding speakers to talk about India and its programs. To me, it was very nice that they invited us to share our experience with other donors.
Do you want to say something, Asha?
Yeah, we would like all of you to come to the gala, and if you have any questions for us, please feel free to ask us. But come there so you know what is going on in Akshaya Patra.
Where is this happening?
So this is in the New York airport. Is a Marriott hotel. It's on 19th, starting at 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. So really, I would say, if you have any interest, come there, see for yourself firsthand what Akshaya Patra is doing. Listen to us, talk to other people, then decide if it is the right thing for you.
Wonderful. So thank you so much for talking to us and being such generous donors to Akshaya Patra, helping children in India with the midday meals. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Namaste.